Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 250 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today we have a great show in store for you. We have an amazing house in Richland Oaks that has been completely remodeled and is on the market right now. Great showing activity, and we thought we'd bring it to you and let you take a look at it as well.
And in our second segment today, we have Jeremy Radcliffe here with us, and he is going to talk about helping mom and dad buy a house.
Lots of good information on that one, simply for the fact that the population pyramid has turned so greatly. It makes a lot of sense, and there's some really good key elements that actually kind of help you maintain your own wealth and a lot of independence for parents longer in life. So this is a really great one. I hope we tune in and take a look. What else are we going to talk about, Jeff?
Let's see, what are we going to talk about?
We got some products and some trends.
Some products and trends today.
And the first one is going to be the Magic Tap. Now, I think this is really interesting because I guess if you had little ones that were trying to open milk and might spill it, this little gizmo with 2 batteries attached to a gallon of milk or orange juice could save you a lot of morning cleanup. You know what the funniest thing is you asked if you could also do it to vodka.
I was just, it would probably, you could pour it into an empty milk jug if you needed to.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a great idea. So it's a really easy one. Use this one and let us know how creative you can get with this. Also, one of the things that we thought was interesting, and this is really catching on, this is a smart plug with wall switch. Now, we've all seen smart plugs. That's really great. But now you also have the one that has a little plug, the adapter to put on the wall. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would put it on the wall. I think I would simply put it on the coffee table, somewhere out of sight, out of mind. For some reason in this video, she shows it going on the refrigerator. I do not understand that.
I didn't get that either. I wonder if that'll control more than one. If you can tell it more than one outlet. Because, Zach it's also magnetic. Oh, it's also magnetic.
It's also
That's
magnetic.
Why it's on the fridge. My second favorite one, this is the appliance wheels. I need these very badly under my washer and dryer because most appliances don't come with wheels, some do, but these are great if yours don't have it.
And even if you had an Airbnb, this would be great to put under your furniture clip, move your furniture so you keep it clean, especially if you've got that solid surface that they're showing here. I think these are smart, easy to move around, do that all day long.
You probably wouldn't want it under your living room furniture because then they'd have like furniture races in the house. And the last was my favorite. This is a snackle box.
Snackle box, this to me, I was like, when someone calls you and says, hey, we're having people over, could you bring an appetizer? Totally going with this. Why not? Or, the other thing too I was thinking though, Jeff, what if you were going to Arboretum to go Thursday night? This right here, you'd be the hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny though that this is a mom because I totally see this as being like something that a gay person would throw together.
Probably.
I mean, leave it to them.
You don't know who invented it.
Yeah, I know it. Well, we hope you found these all very, very interesting. If you decide to use them, let us know. I'd love to see how you interpret all this. What we're going to do now is kind of shift gears, get a little more serious, and talk about things that are happening within the market here in Dallas County. What we like to do is look back over the last 7 days and see what's happening. Cut out the hype, stop the national news, and see what's happening right here.
And this is a very positive report this week. We've seen, the last couple of weeks have been kind of with a downward trend, and I think that has to do something with, the slowing fall market, the way the weeks were falling. But I even think last week we said we're going to see really positive numbers because of the way the end of the month fell.
Yes.
End of the month fell on a Monday or Tuesday, and Monday. And I think everybody was trying to get their deals closed the week, probably before that. So coming soon, which is the first status in MLS that agents could put a property in. Those were up 4% in Dallas County. There were 51 total. New active listings now. This is the other first status that you can put property into in MLS. Those were up by 11% to 459. And then the first status you go into for a contract is called the option period. And those were up 20% last week to 223 houses that went under contract.
So once a contract is out of the option period and we're moving on towards the closing table, we step into the pending status. And that's up 22% to, that is an increase of actually 21 units. Sold is also up 3%, up 8 units to 290. Now what's really interesting is that we're probably going to see this trend continue at least for the following week, given the fact that this is all kind of moving together as one little centipede. Mortgage rates, happy to see this, 7.47, which is down versus 7.7 the previous week. That's for 30-year conforming. One of the great things is that this information is available to all of you on optimalblue.com. One of the things that I really like about Optimal Blue is it allows you to look at both FHA, jumbo, non-conforming, VA loans, and you can actually take and look at the difference and what has happened over the course of 6 months, 12 months, a year. Really kind of puts all of this into perspective into what is, everybody gets so burnt up, right? What's happening right now.
I agree. I totally agree.
Take the sizzle out of it and get to the nuts and the bolts of everything. Speaking of nuts and bolts, let's take a look at 1212 Richland Oaks Drive. This is a great house.
This is really a cool house. A friend of ours bought this about 4 years ago, and I wish we had done like a before and after.
That'd been huge.
Because that was hit by a tornado, and it was 75% destroyed.
Yeah, it was.
I think there's one brick wall that's remaining that's the original wall.
By the fireplace.
Yeah.
And that's it. This is a great area of Dallas, and it's really interesting because as we see Dallas continue to expand in all different directions, we're seeing that the 635 really is turning into the center of the Dallas area corridor, and this just sits just off of it and just to the east of 75, which makes it super easy to get into downtown, and 635, which is one of the great feeders, if you're not from here, that can get you to the north side of the airport, DFW, or get you clean access down 35 or the toll road into Love Field.
Yeah, and that I really like this because this is also one of those areas where it's got good east-west structure. You've got Spring Valley that goes all the way across. You can jump up to Beltline and go all the way across. And you know, if you know there's a huge wreck on 635 and you need to go west, you've got a lot of other opportunities.
And one of the things that we like in heading into downtown is that you actually have access to Dart Rail. It's really interesting. We didn't do this article, but there's an article that was just posted by the Dallas Morning News within the last 24 hours that talks about how the increase in ridership on Dart has really increased. Mm-hmm. Part of me thinks it has to do with the difficulty in commuting sometimes, but also so many people relocating here from areas of the country that are accustomed to using public transportation.
That is, yes, I think you're exactly right. And I think we're going to see ridership grow and grow and grow.
It is interesting because even if you don't use it for going to work, people have become more and more accustomed to using it getting to the fair because it is such an easy way to get there, and it drops you off right at the front door.
And one of the things in the area that you would want to know about is the Buddhist Temple of Dallas. And the really cool thing about this is they have a Thai food market every Sunday, and you can go there and get Thai food to go. I have not eaten there myself. I've heard it is absolutely amazing.
It is amazing. Cash only, but go. It is food like you've never seen before. Mm-hmm. Vendors across probably all different formats of Thai food. Probably a lot of it that we do not see in our very scaled down restaurants here in the States. Take a look at this, and if you go, call me. I think I am heading there on Sunday because I need some good time in my life. One of the things we also like, Dallas Community College. And Jeff, what reminiscence of Dallas Community College?
Well, you asked me what it was known for earlier, and I said, well, it's known for the fact that Jeff Updike went there.
That is amazing. The other thing that this is also known for is that they have a really good ceramics department. I think they feature quite a bit of raku work over there. This actually, if it weren't for 635, would be walkable from this house, mm-hmm. which is pretty amazing.
I agree.
Last but not least, what distillery do we love?
Lockwood Distillery and the distilling company, and this is right off the corner of Beltline and Central Expressway. A really great little area of town that is it's back off the corner. You will not see it from the freeway, but it is on the northeast corner, back behind the Burger Street, back behind the racetrack. There are a couple of other places in this little strip shopping center that I've been to this one several times. They distill their own bourbon. They distill their own vodka. I think they also distill some beer there. But the food is fantastic and the liquor is really good too.
They also flavor them, which I thought was really interesting, with really great fresh elements. The food, as Jeff was saying, is amazing. We went there and I had, I think, the Reuben, and I have to say that the rye bread, I don't know if they have Empire Bakery or who is doing it, but it was spot on. And they have spicy pickles that were really great.
They were really good.
Check them out. They also have live music on Friday.
Oh, that's right.
Check them out.
They did on Wednesday. One of the Wednesdays we went there also. So
I think it's a really good place. I think we're going to see more and more people catching on to this one. It's going to explode.
So let's talk about 1212 Richland Oaks Drive. This is a really, really cool 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. It's about 1,900 and plus, a little under 2,000 square feet. Built in 1977, but again, hit by a tornado 4 or 5 years ago. And the owner of this has really done an amazing job putting it back together.
And a lot of times people are really seeking out mid-century modern. I think that number 2 behind that is the 70s style of architecture that has really come in. Dale, who turned this house, actually did an excellent job both on the outside and creating it modern, but then also really coming to the inside and doing a ton of the heavy lifting. And that's really what I think is his signature, is that one of the things he's done is actually insulated all of the walls in this house to make it where it just has that great energy efficient as if it was brand new modern. Done some elements like added this pocket door here that separates the dining room right there, as you see, from the other side, which is both the kitchen and the family room.
This is a really great kitchen. It's got the workspace that's up against the wall. It's got the island that is the workspace. You've got your bar separated away from that, and that is a really, really large room. As you can see, the ceilings have gone up about a foot in that room. Really gives you a very different voluminous feel than a lot of the homes you have over there.
So one of the things that we tried to get the pictures to highlight this is that you have both a dining room, but you also have a breakfast nook there right beside the kitchen island. This is we actually photographed this from standing inside the area where the refrigerator goes to kind of give you a full area. You can see on the right-hand side, lots of outdoor space that has a great canopy. And looking here, under that island, Dale went ahead and put additional shelving. So there is shelving throughout this. When we get to the photos of the utility room and dry bar, you're going to love that. This natural light both comes in from the side right here, these windows, but there's also, it's not a skylight, he calls it a sky window. A roof window to allow more natural light in here. Excellent job. As you see here, this goes down, which kind of makes sense towards the utility room, but this is a great place to keep appliances, still able to use them, but not completely hide them in the garage.
I have never seen a house this size that had a utility room this size.
So he's got a chiller tube in here. This also has direct access to the garage, and it also has direct access to this courtyard. This courtyard then also goes into the master bedrooms. As you can see, it kind of just tick-tocks through here. This courtyard in the center also allows a lot of natural light that gets into that dining room as well. Again, this house does not have a dark spot in it.
And here's the master bedroom with the vaulted ceilings. It really gives it just a much bigger feel than what the room really is. He did a great job with the bathroom. You can see quartz countertops. Those are shaving height. Custom cabinetry that's done. The rimless shower that was just, I think, done very well. Good tile selection. I do like the fact that he's taken the water closet and put it off to the side, and it does have a pocket door.
So we didn't show you the bedrooms because those are 11 by 14 and 10 by 10, but they're also in impeccable condition. This is outside in a covered patio, little eat-in kitchen, and as you can see, stepping out, you've got a lot of space on the side. We don't have a picture of it, but there's barn doors. There's a nice little patio as well, decking off this, and the green space for any of those four-legged ones.
Yeah, the decking here was done really, really well, and that is a roller gate to the left-hand side there, so you've got totally secure parking. You've got enough room for 2 cars inside the garage with the epoxy floor, the custom cabinetry, but then you also have room for 2 cars out in the driveway that are still going to be inside the fence.
It's amazing. So it's 1212 Richland Oaks Drive. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, built in
1977, I believe.
And then it's 1977 square feet. That's priced at $439,000, and that comes in at $221.50 a square foot. Now, the great thing is that in the comments below, you're going to see the link. Click on that link. Go through those pictures as you like. Zoom in and out on that map. Share it with your friends and family that might be interested. And if you or any of them would like to see it, let us know, and we can make that happen.
And we will be right back. Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pugh, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you miss the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. And it's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life. Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 250 of Sold with Updike Pugh. I'm Weston Pugh, and this is Jeremy Radcliffe with SWBC, and today we thought we would talk about buying a home for mom and dad. I was actually looking on Instagram and I saw a really great reel that came across, and I sent it to you and I said, hey, we need to be on the show. And I think this is something that more people need to know about, just because it is such a great financial tool.
Yeah, when you texted me that, I was like, this is one of my favorite mortgage hacks, if you want to call it that. And so what we actually call it, I did a little bit of research. This name kept being thrown out. I think you'd even mentioned on the video. They were calling the Family Opportunity Mortgage. If you go online, you'll find a lot of videos about this. That name doesn't officially exist in the guidelines, but it does exist with both Fannie and Freddie. So the nice thing about this program, and I can speak to this because we did this exact same thing with my parents in 2020, is it allows you to buy a home for elderly parents who can't afford it on their own, and you get to treat it like a primary residence.
I think that is key right there, is that it is treated as a primary residence. And so many times you're going to hear us talk about investments on the show, and we're going to talk about primary. Primary does a lot, and we're going to get into that. So this is a key element to that, is a primary residence.
Yeah, and the benefit of it, so when you think about it from an underwriting standpoint, so what Fannie and Freddie says is, hey, it's that risk reward. So when someone's buying an investment property, it's a bit of a riskier loan as opposed to someone buying a primary residence. Okay. So that comes into play in terms of, we're going to talk through some of the benefits. The other thing I wanted to say first, though, is there is another nuance to this. If you have adult children who are disabled, that's another opportunity for you to use the same program. So anyone who perhaps disabled adult, the parents can buy the home for the disabled child, and they can also take advantage of this program. So,
it's a great program as this population pyramid really begins to shift.
Correct. So a couple of benefits, and the reason you might want to consider this is the number one thing that we see from people is you get the benefit of the lower rates. Back to this whole idea of non-occupying borrower versus buying as a primary residence. You're always going to see lower rates when you buy it as a primary residence. And so you get to go help mom and dad buy a home, and then you also get lower rates as a result.
Because I was looking at investment property, and I was shocked to see how high those have.
It makes
really
a big difference on the pricing.
Huge difference. And then at that point, it also makes a difference on what your dollars can actually purchase. So it's a huge difference in both monthly and that purchasing power.
Which is a great lead into the next benefit, and it usually results in easier qualifying terms. Okay. Because we are underwriting it as a primary residence, some of the guidelines on primary, just a little bit more flexible versus if you're doing it as a second home or an investment property. So that's a big win as well.
I think that whole concept makes it fit in so many. I think more and more Americans could actually, or people could get into this then because of those.
Correct, and most people don't know about it. The one thing to keep in mind, we were talking about a little bit before we jumped on the segment, is that you do have to qualify if you own existing home. You would have to qualify with that home along with a new house payment. But assuming that you can, it's a great way to take advantage of this program.
But we were also talking about if a parent wanted to have their income counted, and they could be added to the loan to actually help offset.
So the Sqft test, if you will, in terms of whether this works, is that you have to somehow show that the parents can't qualify for the home on their own. Okay. So if mom and dad, if they are wealthy, that may not fit this this parameter. But in the case of if someone's like, hey, we want to move mom and dad closer to us, or they're needing help, or there's a transition in their lives. It's a great setup to allow them to, you can buy it, treat it like a primary residence. You get the advantage of the lower rates and then the qualifying terms. The other benefit that we're seeing a lot of is that I'm trying to see what we had on slide 3. So the lower down payments. One of the benefits is that when you consider it as being a primary residence, you're also not having to do that larger down payment for investment property. A lot of times you'll hear 20% down.
Correct.
On this program, you can do as low as 5%. So imagine being able to buy a home.
15% is a substantial amount of money.
Tremendous.
It is
a tremendous amount of money difference in terms of you get that lower rates, you get the lower option for the down payment. And this is exactly what we did. We were able to buy a house 5% down and treat it like a primary residence.
And the parents can also contribute to the 5%. Is that okay?
They can, absolutely. Yeah. So
And
if
still
they
not be
had
on loan.
funds, they don't have to be. So the other thing that's really interesting about this, there's a lot of flexibility in terms of how it's structured.
Wow.
If the parents want to be on the loan, they can be on the loan. If you don't want them on the loan, they don't have to be on the loan. If they want to be on title, from an ownership standpoint, they can be on. They don't have to be on title, which leads to one of the other benefits. There's a lot of flexibility in terms of how it's viewed from a tax standpoint. So considering what we did was my parents were not on the loan, but we did put them on title. And the reason being is we wanted them to take advantage of the over 65 and homestead exemption. And so that makes a big difference in terms of annual taxes.
So when we look at this is a win program because it's easier to get in at the beginning because of the down payment requirement and because of the interest rates.
Lower boundaries there, yep.
But then it continues to be servicing you in a positive manner because it lowers both homestead and 65 if you work it properly.
Correct, yes.
That's a win.
I was sweating bullets because back in the time we tried to close. This was before Texas changed the law where you had to own the home by January 1st. And so we closed literally on December 31st to make sure that we got advantage of that homestead exemption. But that's now changed. So last benefit on this, and this is probably the thing that I appreciate the most, is it's a great opportunity for kids who are trying to help their parents also build wealth in the process. So if you consider that, hey, we're going to provide mom and dad a house for the rest of their lives, or as long as they want to be there, and then you get the opportunity to, however you guys agree to do it. If they're not on title, obviously we revert back to you on their passing. What we did was we did something kind of creative. We did a revocable due on transfer on death, and so there's some different title things that you can do that would allow it to, instead of it going through probate on anyone's passing, it just goes directly to transfer of title.
So one of the things that also I'm thinking about when you think about the cost of generating this living for your parents, you're doing it at today's price versus.
Correct.
If they don't need adult care until later in life, that is something that happens, and prices continue to go up.
Correct.
And that monthly payment for care is so higher than the mortgage.
Well, and
substantial.
So kind of the thought process that we went through was my parents lived far away in Texas, and I was dialoguing with my wife, and I was like, we're trying to figure out what's the best case for these guys. And it felt like it made more sense to get them close to us.
Yes.
Not knowing what things would look like in the future in terms of health. And that was a big consideration of, are we going to have to travel back and forth? It was great to have them here. And then also just the cost of living we knew was going to be cheaper now than it would be in the future. And so I think it's a great option. A lot of people don't even know this exists, and it really is one of my favorite mortgage hacks.
Yep. Fix your future costs on today's prices.
Correct.
And that way you can then, as you said, transfer it over, and so it's not an outgoing expense.
Correct.
As rent would be,
and then you're getting also the benefit of the future valuation, that appreciation year over year. So,
it is a definite win when it comes to generating wealth.
Yeah.
It is. Well, what we're going to do is give you a slide at the very end right here that'll give you all of Jeremy's contact information. Jeremy, we really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for letting me share.
Always tons of great information. We use Jeremy all the time. 99% of the buyers that we use Jeremy, as we use him both on our personal and our professional accounts. So
thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming in, and remember, we want to be your realtors for life.